So as a young filmmaker, what advice would you give a young filmmaker that wants to pursue a career in directing, producing, casting, any of that?
My advice would be to just, again, know who you are, know what you want to do, and never give up. Don't listen to what anybody, no, don't listen to anybody who tell you to get a real job. Don't get deterred. Stay focused on what you want to do, because that's so important. Because in this industry, you will hear so many people, and not even in the industry, it could be family members, it could be friends, it could be, they're like, get a real job. Like, you need insurance, stick to what's in your heart and pursue what you're passionate about, and don't be afraid. Like, take that leap of faith and don't be afraid to do it. Just do it like Nike said. Hi, my name is LaQuanda Plantt. I am the CEO, founder of ElleQ Casting and ElleQ Productions. I'm a casting director, producer, director, and a life coach, and somewhat of an author. I co-wrote a book with 12 other women back in the pandemic. So yeah, originally I'm from Hartford, Connecticut. I've been in Atlanta for a while. I'm not gonna say because it's gonna age me, but I am now a peach because I pay my taxes here. I founded ElleQ Casting in 2009, and funny about that, like when I was in school, I want to say around maybe 2004. No, 2008, because I went to school in different, you go, you take a break, and then you come back. But so I was in school, and then randomly for an editing class, I cast actors for it, and kind of fell in love with it, but just really didn't know the journey. One thing about casting, there's no blueprint. There's no, I think now maybe certain schools offer casting courses, but it's not something that you learn. And so I kind of just fell into it, and then tried to get like an internship and a mentor, and I was very unsuccessful with that because this was when Atlanta was still kind of like a new city. And so what ended up happening was I ended up getting an internship with a talent agency, so the opposite end of casting. And then I ended up eventually getting an internship with a casting director, and then in 2009 started my own company. Talent agent represents talent, not like a manager, but kind of sort of similar. And the most misconception is the agent works for the actor, because the actor pays the agent 10-15% of their rate or whatever. A casting director works for the production company, and I am the liaison between the production company and the agent or the actor. So it's the casting director's job to find actors to fit the roles for the production. So the last project I cast ended right after the strike, and I can't say what it is, but it's for Lifetime. But before that, I did cast a movie called Girl in the Closet, which is also a Lifetime.
I saw that with Tammy Rowan. Yes. That one was really good movie, yes. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm very proud of that movie. That's actually one of the first movies that I cast all the roles, like all the speaking roles, like literally everyone with a line. I cast all the roles. I did another film for Lifetime before that one called Kurt Franklin, Night Before Christmas, and I only did like local casting. So I only did about maybe 6 roles in that one. But Girl in the Closet is my baby. I did everyone, and so that was a big deal for me. But no, I think what's crazy about Girl in the Closet is that it was like ripped from the headlines. Like, it was based on a true story.
A Lifetime original movie. Ripped from the headlines.
This is your home now. Her name is Cameron. She's still in shock.
Inspired by actual events.
You approved your daughter staying with Mia. I thought she was in good hands.
When I tell you to do something, you do it.
Tammy Roman.
I'm everywhere. I'm God in this house.
How long do you think I have to stay down here?
Until Mia says it's enough.
Remy Ma.
Please help me find my baby.
Auntie Mia!
Nobody gets a free ride living here. If we talk about what goes on, that's gonna lead everybody to us.
You had to change it up by adding Cameron to all this.
It's the money that I'm getting from Cameron that takes care of you and your baby.
Why are you doing this?
In this life, you either taken from somebody or they taken from you.
Girl in the closet.
So ElleQ Productions, I actually started ElleQ Productions recently. I can't remember when, but I want to say maybe almost 3 years ago. But I've been producing since 2012. And so how I started producing, just as a casting director, and I was doing a lot of indies. Anything that I put my name on, I wanted to be, I don't just say, oh, well, this is just my job and walk away from it. I kind of really got involved. And around 2012, I did a web series called Osiris, and I was one of the producers. And it went really well. We won the first web series competition at ABFF. My director producer got a meeting with Warner Brothers, and they actually stole our idea. It was a show called, I'm not even gonna say it, well, I forgot the name of it because it doesn't matter, but they actually did create a show on ABC called something, but it only lasted a season or two. Now looking back on it, I wanna say, this was the time when web series wasn't really a thing, and we saw it, and God, it's so crazy, it was so long ago. I actually did meet Issa Rae before she was like this big thing, because that's when she had Awkward Black Girl out, and she watched Osiris, and it was crazy. I was like, what, you watched Osiris? So I feel like when we did Osiris, it was just a few of us kind of doing web series, and it was cool. I think a web series to me is just like any other project, depending on how you shoot it, but to this day, it's like one of my favorite projects. It was about a guy who was immortal, so he couldn't die. So he was about 400 years old, and the FBI was using him to help solve a case.
I can't believe you actually shot.
Osiris, it is so good to finally see you again, my friend, after so many years.
Wexler.
That man wants me in pieces dissected on a table.
I promise you, I am working on
Your
that.
promises aren't worth much lately.
You have this gift, and you demean it by using it as a pickup line for meaningless sex.
Exceptional, meaningless sex.
What happened here?
Something from a former life.
What just happened?
We lost the feed.
Get it back.
I'm trying.
You will be
The salvation of us all, as it was foretold.
For the last time, I am not a god. All that hogwash about giving yourself the resurrection ability?
This is not a gift, it's a curse.
There are other people in this world besides the great Osiris.
Hell, we don't even know your real name.
Turns out that there are at least 6 cold cases, all with the Vic fitting the description of this Osiris guy.
Oh, I will shoot
Then
you.
do it.
I'll shoot you.
Just shoot me.
You don't think I'll do it? I'll do it.
Shoot me then. People are insane.
Shut up! This could kill millions.
I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to hurt.
If I have to search the earth for the rest of your life, Wexler, I will find you.
I don't even say starting a company is a challenge, because you could just apply for your, LLC or S Corp. But I think for me, I didn't really grow up around business owners, so I didn't know what I was doing. So especially when I started ElleQ, I didn't have a blueprint, and I didn't know how to do anything really. And this is a creative field, so it's a little different than having a business where you're selling goods. You know what I'm saying? So I think as a creative, that part outweighed the businesswoman. And so the businesswoman slacked because I was a creative. And I think even now, I'm still just now finding that rhythm of growing my business. But I think if you're a creative and you don't really have any business background, you're just working just to work, you're not really gaining anything.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of where I was at for many, many years, being a casting director, I saw myself being an advocate for actors a lot. And I think one of the things, even in this industry, and not just with actors, but filmmakers, creatives, it's a hard business. You know, people think because you work in entertainment, it's fun all the time. You're rich, you're this, you work for Tyler Perry. We don't. And, you know, like it's, and with actors, how do you say, I saw a lot of me in them and what they were doing in my process, you know, and I related to their journeys in regards to getting opportunities. And when you're an actor, you get so many no's that it can really kind of tear you down, and it can really mess with your mental. And I was helping a lot of people, or I wanted to help people, and I had the opportunity to take a mentor of mine was like, you should take, well, I'm going to sponsor you to take this life coaching class. And I did, and I got certified. And then a year later, I took Tony Gaskin's life coaching class. So I'm double certified. But I just wanted to help people, you know, and whatever that looked like. So the majority of my clients are actors, but eventually I want to grow and just, you know, help more people who want to, you know, turn their passion into a career, people who want, you know, change business, you know, if they want to do something else and they're not sure. I've always wanted to motivate people. So in regards to stuff like that, more speaking and things like that. But it just kind of naturally happened. I'm very organic about the way I move. So me being a life coach and becoming a life coach was just very organic. It's not something I pursued. It's something that kind of pursued me. I actually directed 3 shorts. And what's funny about that is that I initially wanted to be a director. Like I knew I wanted to work in film when I was like 17 years old. And when I came to Atlanta, I went to Clark for a little bit, and then I had to leave for financial reasons, and then went to the Art Institute of Atlanta, and that's where I graduated from. But when I went to the Art Institute, back then, they didn't have a bachelor's degree for film. It was like web design or something weird like that. So I got my associates in video production. And then a couple of years later, they added a bachelor's degree for digital filmmaking. So I went back, but when I went back, I was already casting, I was already producing. And so I just kind of went back just to do it. Or maybe my son was in high school at the time. Maybe I was like not trying to force him to do something I didn't do myself. So I went back to school to get my bachelor's degree. And during that time, I had to direct a film for my thesis, probably my senior class. But let me rewind a little bit. So when I was in school the first time, because Atlanta was a new city, I think I kind of lost interest in directing because it was so technical. Like we was learning multicam, we was learning news, we wasn't really creative, and I was the only female in the class. Not that that bothered me, but I also felt like I didn't have a voice. And I just kind of lost interest kind of in that. I thought I couldn't do it. I thought it was too technical. I wasn't interested in the cameras and the lenses. I just was interested in the story. And then fast forward, me being a casting director, I'm still interested in the creative. I'm interested in the art of acting. And back in 2008, because what happened was I also, once I went back to school, and like I said, I had to do a short for my senior film, which I ended up like acing and getting like best in show or whatever. But
congratulations.
Thank you. It was a comedy, and like the dean was like, in 25 years, like no student has ever done a comedy. And so that was a pretty proud moment for me, because the first time I was in school, I barely graduated. And then I go back and then was like best in show and was like honor roll, whatever. But I started during that time being back in school, it was a class called internship. So I had to intern and do all that stuff. And then from there, I ended up getting an opportunity to be a PA. So in my mind, like all my friends was like, why are you doing this? You're already in the industry, blah, blah, blah. But I was doing a lot of indies. Right? Like no one from studios were calling me. And I just wanted to get my foot in that door with studios. So I started being a PA. The first show I worked on was Greenleaf. And then that, you know, transitioned to other shows. But during that time, I'm paying attention to the directors that are coming in. And every director was different. And that's how I learned the art of, like, there isn't one type of director. Some directors are super technical, some are not. Some directors storyboard, some are not. And it was my experience on my next show was called Step Up High Water, where I saw 10 completely different directors. And I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be a producing director for episodic television. And then from there, I did another short film called Stockholm. And that was more so about trafficking or whatever. But then around this time last year, I did my third short, Turf. And it's doing film festivals right now. I got a licensing deal from it. I'm not going to say where yet. Thank you.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is the year that I'm probably going to move on and do like a feature or something. But it's funny, kind of like it's like a full circle moment. And it started, even though I still was a little scared, back in 2014, I had the opportunity to work on Selma and meet Ava DuVernay. And then I went to a screening for Mudbound, which Dee Reese directed, and I got to talk to her. And so all of a sudden you see all these women directing, and then it's like, okay, now I can do it. You know, like you all like off camera talking about like your age, like I'm in my 40s. You know what I'm saying? Like, so then like you never think like, okay, I can start doing this now, but you can. And so then I just got that bug, like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And so I keep saying the next 2 years I'm probably going to fade out even casting and just be producing and directing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like directing is what I've wanted to do since I was younger. And if I get the opportunity to do that, then that's the lane that I would want to pursue.
Yeah, so it's funny that you mentioned Ava DuVernay because she's the one who mentioned about directing actors. Are you a fan of directing actors? And if so, like, what's your process of doing that?
Well, I think, again, because of my over a decade experience as a casting director, I just, like now, especially once the pandemic hit, we moved to tape and everything is so electronic. And I missed that part of having in-person auditions because I genuinely love the process of auditioning, the art of auditioning, if you will. And it's such a process. And even before I called myself a casting director, I went and audited acting classes. You know, I feel like a lot of people just say I'm this, but me, I really like to do the work. I really like to learn as much as I can. Just that process of going to different acting classes and watching, like, it's really not an easy job to be an actor.
Yeah.
So for me, let's say, for example, my last short, Turf, I say the look that I want, and I completely trust my DP to give me that look. I'm not micromanaging anybody.
Same.
I'm like, this is the look I want. And of course, I'm going to oversee while we're on set, but my focus is the actors. Like, we have rehearsals, we have table reads, we are like, so by the time we got on set, those 4 girls, you would have never knew they weren't best friends, you know? But I just feel like that is, at the end of the day, a friend of mine said this a long time ago, that is no such thing as bad acting, it's bad directing. That may or may not be true, but I feel like you, as a director, if you're not working with your actor to get that performance out that you want. How long, like, she gotta come this way without me talking. She can't see me.
Oh, do you want me to? I can.
You can do it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Look at me and.
Okay. So, what's her name again?
Melinda.
Melinda. That her name? That ain't it. That don't sound right. I'm not feeling that. No.
You got
Melinda. Is it right? Is it Melinda?
Yes.
Oh, good. A really good friend of mine, her name is Tiffany Black. Hey, girl. We were talking, and I was just expressing to her my director's journey of how I want to pursue directing. And Tiffany had moved to LA a couple years ago, and she's been working with some really dope people out there, and like, she's an actress, but she really was like writing in some really big circles.
That's good.
And she was saying to me, she was like, I have a few scripts, I'm going to send them to you, and you pick one, and then the one you like, you can have. And I fell in love with Turf, and that's the one. Turf is like, I mean, the short version of it, because I'm so bad, I'm not even like an elevator pitch person, but the gist of it is that, like, it's society now. Like, everyone want to fake the, okay, I'll say this. Turf is what? Fake grass.
Yes.
But it looks real. That's how so many people live their lives.
Yeah, that's true.
So you have a group of 4 friends,
Wow.
and everyone, you may think everybody's living their best life, and everybody's faking in some aspect of their life, and you really don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So
I love that name, though. Shout out to the friends in LA. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like you were losing your friends because you couldn't keep up with them? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm glad my girls are killing it, but right now I just feel like I'm losing at life. And a girl shouldn't lose her friends just because she doesn't have a house or a man, right?
No one wanted to mentor me, and I'm not going to call anybody out, but I reached out to a few people, and like nobody wanted to mentor me. And unfortunately, I just feel like it's enough room at the table for everybody, you know, and each one teach one, bring someone up. But that was really, it's still, I mean, I'm at the point now, I mean, it is what it is, but I would have loved to have a mentor when I started my career, you know. The biggest obstacle I kept running into was like, oh, you're in Atlanta, we're in LA, but those same people are in Atlanta.
That brings me into Taraji P. Henson, what she talked about us being like underpaid in the world of filmmaking. Like, how did that make you feel, and what's your thoughts on that?
I think being like from two different sides and being from the casting end, I just know just the business of it, and it's so unfortunate, and that's just all around. It's not just actors, it's directors, it's producers. It's just like Black women, we're the bottom of the totem pole, and I think it's because even getting into this industry, you know, is like new. You're just now starting to see us. You know, you have women as a whole trying to get in. You know, but then when you talk about Black women or minority women, women of color, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, we're the monopoly. You know, we're the minority in regards to that. And so, of course, when the people who are signing the checks are, you know, and I said that once more of us start signing checks, more of us start running companies, you're not going to see that change. And as much as people do talk about Tyler Perry, he's the one that are paying people their value and their worth. And I think Taraji was one that said he's the first person to pay her $500,000.
Yeah.
So is more of that needs to happen in regards to the studio owners. And again, just being your own boss and creating and learning the industry enough to learn the business aspect of it, to demand what your rate needs to be. Because also on the flip side of that, like you have us, those that look like us who don't want to share the information. Who don't want to share the knowledge. I remember when I first started. Gatekeepers, right. I remember when I first started LQ, and I reached out to another casting director, woman of color. I'm not going to mention her name.
Yeah, as you should.
And I had asked her, I think it was a general question because I didn't have that, but I was like, if it was $1 million budget, what would your rate be? Just to get an idea of how to, you know, price my services, because I couldn't find it anywhere. And she said to me, that's between me and my agent. And she never told me. And so I had to, again, learn as I went in regards to that. Like when I started LQ, I was working for free for a good year just to build my reputation. And then slowly I just started building my rate as I built my reputation. But now it's all, again, full circle, being on set. I pay attention, I look at budget, see now what people are being paid. So now I could demand, but you can't do that if you don't know the start. Until then, I say all that to say is I agree with Taraji, you know, and hopefully that will change.
I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. You get tired. I hear people go, you work a lot. Well, have to. The math ain't mathing.
Well, I would like to ask, you know, being a Black woman in this industry, and not only just a Black woman, a creator, it is really hard and on your mental and staying motivated and staying positive. So what advice would you give as a life coach to, you know, overcome that?
Definitely know who you are as a person, and then tune into that and hone into that. Like, and self-care, like I'm like the biggest self-care advocate for actors. I created an actor's journal in the pandemic, just so you can, like, actors could write down how they feel. Like every actor wants kind of like that instant gratification, and you can't get that. But in regards to me, Like I started looking up, I went up to like the mountains of North Carolina. I went to a happiness retreat. Like I'll do yoga, meditate, breathing. Like you have to take care of yourself. It was excessive, but I would get a massage once a week. Like whatever I could do to decompress. And like my happy place is my bed and television. And I will sit there and be okay with that. But you have to know who you are as a person and what, because you get caught up. Like this is an industry where you have to be here, there, because you got to network or you got to be social or you have to, your face. I didn't do any of that stuff because I don't like that stuff. Like I don't like to network. I don't like to be out in a group of, you know, people like that. Like if I meet people organically, great, but I don't like to just be in a room full of people like, hi, look at me. You know, so that's just not for me. But I feel like as an individual, finding what that self-care looks like for you and actively doing that. The CSA right now, even though it's so funny that I'm trying to wean my way out of casting when I finally get into CSA, but I've been wanting to be a part of CSA for a decade and I didn't meet the requirements. Like before you had to have a mentor, but now I think because of streaming, there's so many casting directors all across the country, not just in New York and LA. Where before that's kind of where you had to be. And now they've allowed like reality casting producers, and so they have a membership for reality now too. So now it's opened the doors where you just need the credits. So I just kind of like, you know, expressed my interest. They kind of told me it's on their website too. You know, they'll send you everything you need and you submit it, and if you get in, you
pass
know.
or fail thing.
And
you said, and you would recommend like any young filmmaker to like try to get into those.
So the same thing is I feel like it's your preference. Because let's say in regards to the PGA, I know someone's in the PGA and they told me it was a waste of time. But for me, I don't want to say just having a gratification, but I wanted to be a part of it. And now that I'm in it, I guess you go with anything, you're gonna get out of it what you want. You know what I'm saying? So like I go on the Zooms, I get the information. If they have, you know, a Zoom for us, I'm gonna sit on it. I want to get the information about the industry, and now I'm a part of the voting process for the screeners. Like that to me is dope, and I, you know, always wanted to do that before I was actually a member of the Producers Guild. So I feel like in regards to, let's say, a director, the next goal is the DGA. If you're an upcoming director, yes, you know, you want to be in a DGA because that's how you're going to get those jobs. The Producers Guild and the CSA, I haven't gotten anything from it yet because we were in a strike. So talk to me in a year.
So you got it like during.
I got in the PGA in May and I got in the CSA in August. So.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. They were pretty big deals for me, but it's like we were in the middle of a strike, so I hadn't really reap the benefits except for the informational part of it.
And then if somebody wants to hire you for casting, what does that process look like? How would they, you know, get
the process for me in regards to casting is like just reach out to me, send me an email, and then kind of like, you know, we'll chat about the script, send it to me. If I like it, we'll go there. I'm gonna ask you some questions about like I interview you like you interview me, and if it works for me, then I'll do it.
I think that is it. So if you want to go ahead and look into the camera and share your, I guess your contact information, your social media, whatever.
No, I'm kidding.
Like whatever you know, no numbers and whatever you want to share where people can stalk you.
Okay, great, no worries. Hi, again, my name is LaQuanda Plantt. Thank you so much for having me. You can find me on social media. My IG is ElleQ.everything, and that's spelled ELLEQ.everything. That's the same for my TikTok, even though I'm not super active on TikTok. And I also have a Facebook group, ElleQ Casting, which is ElleQ Casting. And that's it.
Thank you so much for coming, LaQuanda.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.